establishments, especially in Bungoma and Busia counties, with statistics indicating 2 out of every 5 establishments in Bungoma operate illegally. Further recognizing that a majority of the consumers of illegal substances are school-going children who end up dropping out of school, and cognizant of the fact that Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 established the Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, whose purpose is to, among other things, facilitate dissemination of information on alcoholic drinks and promote rehabilitation programs in the country. This House urges the government to institute intensive programs for the dissemination of information on alcohol and substance abuse in line with the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 and to increase the number of rehabilitation centers across the counties. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, motion, regulation of the sugar industry to discourage branding of sugar by non-millers. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question that aware that the importation and exportation of sugar is regulated by various laws according to the Crops Act and the Agriculture and Food Authority Act of 2013, and further aware that the Agriculture and Food Authority is charged with the responsibility of regulating the importation and exportation of sugar in the country in accordance with the law, noting that the importation of sugar is also negotiated within the regional trade blocks, frameworks and agreements to enable the country to meet the demand for sugar, further noting that, that individuals or entities are allowed to import sugar provided they obtain the necessary permits and meet the required standards. Concerned that despite these regulations, there have been instances of illegal importation of low-quality sugar or adulterated sugar. Further concerned that unscrupulous traders have been found to rebrand the sugar which does not meet the standards of the Kenya Bureau of Standards specifications. Deeply concerned that this poses significant health risks to the consumers as well as undermining the efforts to regulate and strengthen the sugar industry to protect local millers. Acknowledging that the country has the potential to produce enough sugar to meet the domestic demand, as the sector has been a key driver of economic growth. Further acknowledging that there is need for concerted efforts by stakeholders to discourage the branding of sugar by non-millers and promote the development of local sugar industry. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Trade, Investments and Industry, ensure strict operationalization of regulatory frameworks governing sugar importation in this country. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 10, motion, action to address the recent surge in road accidents in the country. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question that aware that the National Transport Safety Authority Act 2012 provides for the establishment of the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, further aware that the authority, in line with Section 4 of this Act, plays a critical role in ensuring the provision of safe, reliable, efficient road transport services. Concerned that there has been an alarming surge in road accidents in the recent past, resulting in loss of life, injuries and damage to properties. Further concerned that the authority has not effectively and fully performed its functions of regulating safe, reliable transport service, especially in dealing with public service vehicles. Noting that the poor maintenance of motor vehicles and and is deeply concerned that school-going children are increasingly becoming victims of the road accidents, and recognizing that it is the responsibility of the authority to ensure adherence to the road traffic rules and to establish systems and procedures for, and to oversee the training, testing, licensing of drivers. And now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through Ministry of Roads and Transport, undertakes a comprehensive overhaul of the transportation sector to provide for proper regulation of the sector and ensure strict operationalization of traffic regulations to provide a safer and more reliable transport. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords any person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including petitioning the House to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. Further, Standing Order number 2252B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than those presented by a member. In this regard, honorable members, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition from Mr. Godfrey Maina, Kevin Kiarie, Muhia Kagwi, and John Wangai of PO Box 40317 Nairobi, calling for the amendment of Section 7(3) of the Estates Duty Act, Cap 483 of the laws of Kenya, in order to entrench equality in taxation. Honorable members, the petitioners have expressed displeasure with Section 7(3) of the Estate Duty Act, Cap 483, because it exempts the estates of His Excellency Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and His Excellency Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, both retired, from imposition of estate duty. Honorable members, the petitioner states indicate the section to be contrary to Article 2010(3) of the Constitution that provides that no law may exclude a state officer from payment of tax by reason of the office held by the state officer or the nature of the work of the state officer. To this end, honorable members, the petitioners refer to Article 2(4) of the Constitution, which provides that, and I quote, "Any law, including customary law, that is inconsistent with this Constitution is void to the extent of the inconsistency, and an act or omission in contravention of this Constitution is invalid." Honorable members, the petitioners faulted the provision of Section 7(3) of the Estate Duty Act because they are convinced that it is discriminatory and contributes to social inequality, hinders economic redistribution of wealth, and denies the government the much-needed revenue. The petitioners therefore seek the intervention of the House in deleting Section 7(3) of the Estate Duty Act, Cap 483. Honorable members, having established that the matter raised in this petition is well within the authority of the House, and further, that the matters raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law or any constitutional body or legal body, I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee for consideration pursuant to the Standing Order 208A. Honorable members, the committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioners in accordance with Standing Order 2272 of the Standing Orders. I thank you, honorable members. Next order. Oh yeah, honorable members, those who want to make general comments on this particular petition, kindly press the intervention button. I will start with the honorable member for Marsabit County, Honorable Naomi Wako. Okay, the honorable member for Malava, Honorable Moses.
Sorry,
Jendi.
Madam Speaker, I wanted to speak on something else.
Okay.
Reported by Education Committee.
All right, pull out your cards, and only if you want to speak to this particular. The Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Dr. Robert Bukose.
Madam Speaker, I want to support the petitioner. This is a very important petition, and I think I would want that when the committee looks into it, they move with the speed, and they should liaise with the Committee on Legal and Justice so that we can have an amendment to the Estate Duty Act, Section 7.3, because, Honorable Speaker, I think it is immoral when, by virtue of office, of being the president, then you've been benefiting from the people's contribution, that you yourself is exempted from paying tax. I think it's a very serious omission by virtue of being in the office, that you let the rest of Kenyans pay for your taxes, and your estate is exempted from paying tax. Surely, Madam Speaker, I think this is something that the committee will need to move with speed, and if possible, they should be able to pay taxes retrospectively, so that those taxes that they have been exempted for those many years, they should be able to pay. And I know, since they have big estates, those estates can be sold and the taxes be recovered from that. I support.
The Honorable Member for Emuhaya, Honorable Oboko Mileva.
No.
Oh, you wanted to speak to the teachers?
I'm very much pleased.
Okay,
Honorable
proceed.
Speaker, it is just Bokose who's doubting my capacity on this. Let me begin by indicating that I support the petitioners. And they have just picked out an item that is reminding me of the histories of France before the revolution. That there was 3 classes. One of them was the first estate, which was made of the nobility, the clergy. The second one was the second estate, made up of the nobility. And then we had the third one, which was called the commoners. Now, the commoners only paid the taxes. The nobility and the first estate were not paying taxes. So finally, the economy crumbled, and that's how we got the revolution. We cannot go that direction, and therefore I think I support this petition, that having served as the first president, second, and so on, and even others who are coming, they should pay. Because interestingly, they are the ones who have a lot of estate. And the petitioners, the chair is here. When you look at this, you should also look at the idle land lying in this country which does not pay taxes on those estates. Because like in America, Honorable Speaker, the entire education system of America is actually paid for by the rents and taxes charged on idle land in America. And it works magic. So let's not have a classified society, and I support the petitioners. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Runyenjes, Honorable Eric Mishangi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the petitioners, and I wish to say that this is a very progressive petition, and it is going to ensure that all Kenyans pay taxes as required by the law. Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether you know that this is actually biblical. The Bible says that to whom much is given, much is also expected. Yes. So I believe that they exempted themselves from paying taxes because they thought that they would be paying so much. But if you look at actually even how we are paying the housing levy, those who have a bigger salary are paying more, unlike those who have a smaller salary. So let the big families, the Kenyattas and the Mois, pay taxes so that we can grow this country to together. Let us not grow this country for them. Let us grow this country together. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Dadaab, Honorable Farah Maalim. Members, I can see a few of you will have a chance. Just ask others to speak briefly.
Yeah. Madam Speaker, I stand to support this petition. Madam Speaker, we were a former colony. We are a republic. We're not a monarchy. These people were trusted with our welfare. They ended up using the collective guilt, those days of colonization, the Mau Mau, my own clan's war with the British and all that, and all the destruction that was done to us. And we trusted them with our future. They went and grabbed big tracts of land. They grabbed the millions of acres. We were paying them pensions that are big after those ones who died in office. And today, they're not supposed to pay taxes. Madam Speaker, this is wrong. This is the reason why the French Revolution came about, is because of the privileged and the nobility. Our independence has no value, it has no meaning. The people who struggled for Mau Mau, the people who fought the colonialists, the people who fought the slavery, because when they wanted to come and take slaves from here, it is Samoy, Koitelel, Samoy, Koyaki, the Koyaki family, my own family. These are the people who fought. The Somalis of Kenya fought those colonialists. They were not able to do slavery here and the Horn of Africa. And that's why we are an egalitarian republic that essentially is supposed to take care. And here we claim that you have a hustler what you call government and a hustler economy. But you have what you call privileged people out there who are not supposed to pay any taxes because we exchanged the white settlers and the white mobility and the Queen of England and the King of England with our own African monarchs. At least in practice, even if it's not there in name and in titles. Madam Speaker, I support this petition. And
okay, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. You know, Honorable Speaker, I have no objection to the content of the contribution of the former Deputy Speaker, who is also a member of the panel. But it is also the practice of this House and the traditions of this House and our standing orders that we shall not display or wear colors that associate to either a party or a foreign sovereign within Parliament. And I think we need to bring that independence, that we respect the traditions and practices, that I would request the Honorable Member to remove the scarf that he's wearing so that he remains dignified, honorable, and a sovereign Kenyan who expresses in this House matters of this country without having to take position with any other sovereign in this House. So, Honorable Speaker, I request that you ask the Honorable Farah to do what this House has ever done over the years, including displaying party colors or anything that divides us on tribal, religious, or any other thing is not what this House will accommodate. So I request you, Honorable Speaker, that he is requested humbly to remove the scarf that he is wearing. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I want to tell this young brother of mine, I was in this parliament in 1994 when...
Order, Honorable Farah. A member has risen from his place and has challenged your dress code. And you yourself, you are a veteran member of this chamber and a highly respected member, also a ranking member. And you know very well that the scarf you're wearing is also depicting the colors of a particular country. It is just very well in order that being who you are and being one of the people who are relied on to provide leadership in this house, that you appropriately dress yourself and come back and continue with the debate. So you are directed. Honorable,
Because we don't have a country.
Honorable Farah. Order, Honorable Farah. You are the veteran of this. You are so directed. Now you are well dressed. You may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, it's much obliged. Of course, I respect the chair, and I'll definitely listen to what the chair is. But this is not the colors of any republic. Tell me which republic. It's not Tanzania. It's not Israel. No, there's no a republic called Hamas. There is a liberation movement which needs the support of everybody in this country called the Palestine and the Palestinian rights. Now, those of you who have a problem with that, can I just finish? Those of you, can I just finish? This order, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Farah.
Mr. I want to continue. I'm going to continue. Okay. I will continue.
Allow Farah to finish.
I want to continue, Mr. Speaker. I want to continue, Mr. Speaker.
Please. You only have 30 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, I want to continue. These people took away all my time for showing solidarity with the poor victims of Gaza. But anyway, I'm talking about, let me come back to the major issue that was there, which is the petition. And those of you who think they're going to join the nobility and basically think that you can also enjoy that one time because you get these exemptions, or you'll also become so powerful as to be able to destroy other people like the Palestinians being destroyed, is up to you. But anyway, my position is that this exemption of taxes was wrong. This country is the republic. There is no special place. There are no special privileges. Although my own house wants to give special privileges to the Israelis to destroy poor Palestinians, but we don't want to have that within our own property and estate with the contradictions in this country. And I think it's only fair that this petition is carried and supported fully, and I support it. Thank you.
Very well, Honorable Vicaria.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as much as the petitioners have a right to come and petition, and of course that is a constitutional right, Honorable Speaker, it is also important for us to remember the founding fathers of this nation. The people who passed this law then, I think in 1960s, had a purpose. Honorable Speaker, it's also important for us to remember, it's unfortunate that Dedan Kimathi died and he was never exempted. How I wish that he had, but he didn't have any property even to be exempted. Honorable Speaker, much as this petition is here, I think it is important for us to understand that we have founding fathers who came, and for the property to remain under his name, Honorable Speaker, if it ever transfers to the heirs or whatever, then the taxes become payable. So it's only for those property that will never, I don't imagine whether it can ever be paid or sold or something, for as long as the Mzee is dead and the family wants to keep that. So, Honorable Speaker, as much as the petitioners want to do this, it is also important for us to look at those people who brought this freedom that we are enjoying today, and also include, if possible, even the Right Honorable Raila Odinga's property, if it was possible, because he has really fought also for this country in so many ways and brought a lot of openings and freedom in whatever we are doing. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I object that or oppose that. Thank you.
At the very back, is that Honorable?
Honorable Speaker, I have the mic already.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I already have the mic.
No. At the back there, is that the MP, women MP for Nairobi? Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I feel that both the presidents, we give them their due respects, the founding father of the nation and the late Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, and any future president that will own property and serve this nation. But I also feel that it is important that everyone pays taxes. And this should be an example, not just for Kenya, but also for the entire continent. What happens in our continent is that our leaders, when they assume the office of presidency, amass such a big amount of wealth. And that wealth, when gotten, is at the expense of the development of the country. So it's to come back after retirement and amassing such a huge amount of wealth, whether legally or illegally, it is also because of the positions that they held that they amassed that much of that level of wealth. There is no way that somebody who is listed or an estate that is listed as probably being the richest, amongst the top richest people in the world, can now come to Kenya and say, we cannot pay taxes because we serve the nation. The nation was served, but so were those families served by this country. And the kind of wealth that they have, if they pay taxes, in fact, it should be something that they should have volunteered to pay, because they have developed the country in some way, but the wealth that they have amassed, if they pay taxes, it helps this country to develop. And anyone who has taken a leadership position in this country should want to pay taxes so that the country can develop. We are struggling right now with poverty. We are struggling right now with debt. And we know that the biggest reasons for these struggles is corruption.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member for Nairobi County.
For me, I support the petitioner.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I encourage you to take a minute each because they are just comments on a petition. So 1 minute each. The Honorable Meli.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support the petition. The Estates Duty Act is actually a tax that is levied on a deceased person's estates. And a number of prominent Kenyans normally pay these taxes. And actually, what is accrued from all this taxation goes to the national kitty or the consolidated fund. However, to exempt one or two families or two individuals is quite wrong, it's unethical, and it's not provided for. This particular Estates Duty Act was actually passed way back in June 1963. And I think it is time that it is amended so that every other family that owns huge property or estates are able to pay tax and contribute to the national development of this country. So therefore, Madam Speaker, this petition is properly before the House, and we ask the relevant committee on finance and national planning to really move in and make sure that we have an amendment to that effect so that no one is exempted of that particular tax. And I support. Thank you.
The Honorable David Ochen.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. This petition belies a very fundamental issue, Madam Speaker, that we may miss by thinking only about the estate tax or estate duty, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's about how do we as a country, going forward, appreciate people who have led this country. How do you appreciate our heroes? How do we treat them? How do we provide for them? It's not just about the estate duty. And so, Madam Speaker, much as I would not support any exemption of taxation for anybody, Madam Speaker, a way must be found, and I would like to ask the committee concerned that as they look at this petition, they should widen their scope in terms of what was the reason, first of all,
it can't be only about estates. It can't only be about taxes. We can be able to honor our leaders through other means without discriminating against the rest of the Kenyans. So I want to request the committee concerned that one, this clearing discrimination must go away. But we must get a way of honoring our leaders. Thank you.
The Honorable Bichi Zelachi. What is out of order, Honorable Dr. Pukose?
You know, Madam Speaker, I had indicated a point of order when Honorable Cheng was speaking. Honorable Cheng has intentions of...
I saw intervention, but
yes.
I got your intention was to
you know, Honorable
Cheng
is my friend and has always declared interest of becoming a president of this country at one time. So he's conflicted in making his contribution, Madam Speaker. And I don't think that is right. Because if you have an interest of becoming the president, then you should not look for exemption.
Madam Speaker, clearly, I've said I support this petition and that no one should be against Madam Speaker. Whether I'll be president or not, I don't think that is an issue. Of course, I know because you vote for me at that time.
Thank you, Honorable Cheng. The Honorable Beatrice Zelachi, please make it a minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise. While I support it, Madam Speaker, I think it is time also for us to look at our country and to look at the land chapter, and I'm hoping the committee will now tell us why is it that after the new constitution came into place, to date we have not been able to ensure that those who have land that is not used are taxed, because that is what we said in our constitution. And we just hide and run away. Since 2013, we've not put in this law. That is why this petition now finds us here. But as I finalize, Madam Speaker, we also need to ask ourselves one thing. I think it is important for us when we have these laws, those who served us before, we appreciate, they went through their own systems, and now for us, it is us in this generation. What are we serving our people with? Or are we just reminding them what happened before? What is good that we have given our people today in this country that they can celebrate us? Thank you.
Thank you, Member for Dagoretti. Honorable Mbai of Member for Kitui East, I would like you to keep your comments because this matter is going to come to your committee. So I would like to ask you that we give this opportunity to another member. Kindly, Honorable Mbai, since it is coming to you, please take your seat. You will have all the time to say everything. Let me guide you that way, Honorable Mbai. The Honorable Makilap.
Madam Speaker, from the onset, the framers of this petition are people who are very mighty with the truth. This petition is very subjective, with specific targeting two presidents, is actually primitive and subjective to the extent to which we must reject this petition. Madam Speaker, we cannot bring an amendment of taxation to target two families who serve this country, who are the legends of Kenya. Unless this parliament will have removed our conscience of truth, these taxes are, the former presidents of this country are immensely contributing to many taxes in Kenya. There are people financing this country through taxation. Their properties, their investments are taxed. We cannot therefore reduce the petition actually two families.
Thank you,
let us think widely and bring a better thing that will bring inclusivity in taxation.
Thank you, Honorable McClap. The Honorable Jane Kihara.
Mr. Speaker,
1 minute,
Madam Speaker, I stand to support the petition. And for reference, I know I worked for a company called Orbit Chemicals as a credit controller, where Kiptagich Farm was a customer. They were buying fertilizer. And forever I asked myself, why is this debt not being paid? It's just piling up. Little did I know that it's because it belonged to the late President Moi. And when I had a chance to speak to the manager, he's the one who told me, you don't know this farm belongs to the president. I think as much as we respect
the former president, we cannot overrule the constitution. The constitution, we have to follow it as a country. This country cannot be like the animal farm where all animals are equal and some are equal than others. Thank you. I support, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Caroline Ngeleche, member for Elgeyo Marakwet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And before I even make a comment, I wish to correct Honorable McLeod, who said that we have two former presidents. I wonder where Honorable McLeod left the late Honorable Mwai Kibaki. He should explain and apologize to this country because we have three, not two former presidents, Madam. Oh, so sorry, former presidents, and three of them are deceased. So you should explain to us. And that explains that, Honorable Speaker, we should be objective. You know, Madam Speaker, at this time, at economic times, taxes are being increased in Kenya, and ordinary people, some of whom are not even able to pay those taxes, are squeezed to the last drop to get tax to run this country. Whereas there are people who inherited millions and billions of money from our founding and former presidents. They should pay the taxes actually, because the former ones or the heads of states are no longer there. They are deceased and they are not the beneficiaries. So those who inherited from them must pay taxes, because even some of the Kenyans who are struggling, who don't even have a fraction of what they have, are paying taxes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, member for Marakwet. The Honorable Catherine Omanyo, member for Busia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just as sure as death can occur, taxes are inevitable. Every Kenyan, be it former president or former MCA or any other person involved in building of this nation, should not evade taxes. So I concur with the statement, and what I don't agree with is how they revile these former freedom fighters in public and make it look like they did not want to build this nation. They really did, and that is why they fought for us to be free, to do what we love for our nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What is out of order?
I am a member of Elgeyo Marakwet County, not Marakwet County, Madam Speaker.
Yes, the member for Elgeyo Marakwet County. The Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker, we have a lot of negative energy and personal vendetta being directed at the founding father of this nation and the second president of this country, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, since this government came into place. Honorable Speaker, let me remind these people that the people you think you may be speaking for will be former presidents. Article 24 of the Constitution prescribes limitation of fundamental rights. So you may, and it is by law. You may say, Honorable Speaker, that no land should be exempt. But by law, these have been exempted from taxation, estate duty. They pay the other taxes. I want us to stop this personalized myopic attacks which lead people even to go steal animals from the farm of the Kenyattas. The other day it will be a different thing. The other day you'll be removing the tomb. You'll be removing the museum. Next you'll be removing that statue. This vendetta is not helping to the nation and is not respectful of the leadership these people gave the country, and it must stop. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Oh, there is a point of order, Honorable Kaluma.
Although Honorable Kaluma has sat down, he's actually displayed a lot of negative energy, and I think that is not healthy for him, health-wise, because when you express a lot of negative energy in that manner, it raises your high blood pressure, and you might end up with you might end up with even stroke. Honorable Madam Speaker, the accusations which is made are actually, I don't know whether he was I don't know whom he was directing to, but I'll take it, I would want us to ignore those kinds of accusations. Thank you.
You know, I was listening keenly to the Honorable Dr. Pukose because I know he's a surgeon and he was making some health-related statements. So Honorable Kaluma, did you take notes?
Honorable Chair, you know I cannot take notes from Honorable Dr. Pukose on medical matters since he joined Parliament. I have my Dr. Anyikal here, and I have Professor Mulimba outside there, and other doctors, Professor G.B. Okelo, Professor Atinga. Those are the people I listen to, not Dr. Pukose. Not Dr. Pukose.
Honorable members, I'll let that pass because we are just making comments to this petition. The Honorable Hillary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to support the petition. Since the 2010 Constitution came into place, Madam Speaker, the country has been trying to right a lot of wrongs in an effort to make Kenya a better place. In 1960, Madam Speaker, when this law was passed, I probably assume it was picked from the statement that says, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And at independence, these presidents thought they were Caesar themselves. They didn't imagine that Caesar is the government itself. So going forward, Madam Speaker, we must right all wrongs and everybody must pay tax, including the present president, Dr. William Ruto, and all other presidents that will come after. So, Madam Speaker, I support.
Honorable members, I hope you'll get an opportunity to go to the Honorable Mbai's committee so that you can debate, you can give your comments in a better way. I'll give two more. The Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I support this petition. And Madam Speaker, it should not just be narrowed down to estate tax. Madam Speaker, this country is using a lot of money, taxpayers' money, in pensions and other frivolous, whatever, we give them cars, the presidents and all that. Madam Speaker, it's a lot of money in exchequer, so Madam Speaker, we should even look at other places where we are spending money on former presidents and deputy presidents and prime ministers and all that. So Madam Speaker, I support this.
The Honorable Owen Baya on behalf of the Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to say this one, that paying taxes is both a legal and moral issue. Now, the Kenyattas, the Mois, and all other formers need to look at the moral aspect of it and say, as Kenyans, if other Kenyans are paying taxes, they should pay tax. But, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the constitutional law they have quoted in this petition, which I have listened to you, it is actually inconsistent. Because in their petition, they say that they are quoting 210(3), which provides that no law may exclude a state officer. And it goes on to say, from payment of tax by reason of the office held by the state officer or the Kenyattas and the Mois are not state officers. And therefore, this law which the petitioner has quoted is actually inconsistent itself. And therefore, as the committee looks at it, it is not inconsistent. The Kenyattas are not state officers. The Mois are not state officers. And therefore, as you're looking at it, I think you may dismiss it prima facie on the basis that even what these people have quoted is not actually the section of the Constitution they should have quoted. And I would like Honorable Mbai to be guided by that, so that he's not seen in any way that he will display negative energy, as Kaluma said in his committee. They should be guided by the law in making a decision, but the Kenyattas and the Mois should be guided by the morality that every Kenyan must pay taxes on their properties. I thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. In the interest of time, it's now 10:30, and the time for making comments on this petition has come to the end. Before we move to the next order, I would like to welcome students from Bishop Kanyiri Academy, Vika Town, Kiambu County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the National Assembly. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 25th October 2023, morning sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statement in respect of the following institution for the year ended 30th June 2021 and 30th June 2022 and the certificates therein. A. Chebisas Girls High School. B. Reverend Musa Gitau Girls Secondary School. C. Thika Garrison Secondary School. And D. Afraha High School. 2. Report of the Auditor General and financial statement on a case study on integrated delivery of selected non-communicable diseases in Kenya, PHGF grant number TFOA 5636, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2023 and the certificate therein. Madam Speaker, I lay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Naomi Wako. The Chairperson, Select Committee on NGCDF.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 25th of October, 2023. Mr. Speaker, you need to protect me from Honorable Meli and Owen Bayer.
The Honorable Meli and the Honorable Bayer, let the Chairperson CDF be heard in silence. You may proceed.
Report on the Select Committee on the National Government Constituency Development Fund on its consideration of a nominee for appointment to the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee of Tiati constituency. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Select Committee on NGCDF.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on National Government Constituency Development Fund on its consideration of a nominee for appointment to the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee of Tiati constituency.
What is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, this is a procedural issue. Honorable Speaker, the chair of the National Assembly Select Committee on CDF was given permission by you, Honorable Speaker, to lay the paper or the motion. He later moved. He moved it without laying. Said I lay, then he sits down there. You must bring it here. Honorable Speaker, could you direct him appropriately? Yes. This is something only a full-fledged scholar understands.
On order, Honorable Kaluma. Please just allow me to tell you what he has done. He laid the paper accordingly. So there is nothing out of order, Honorable Kaluma. He did, honorable members. Next order. There is another notice of motion by the member for Central Imenti. You may proceed. The Honorable Moses Kirima. It has to do with the establishment of an emergency price control framework. He's out of the House. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Member for Changamwe, the Honorable Omar Mwinyi. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If you had given me an opportunity to contribute to the previous discussion, I would
Honorable Omar Mwinyi, please go ahead and request for the statement that you had intended to.
Okay.
You cannot go backwards to a matter that has been dispensed off with.
I'm guided. I only just wanted to contribute briefly, but anyway, If you had allowed, I would have said, if they were...
You're out of order, Honorable.
Okay, let me go on, Madam Speaker. I'm guided now. Request for a statement regarding management of houses and treatment of tenants on estates in Mombasa County owned by National Housing Corporation. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Works regarding the management of houses and treatment of tenants on estates in Mombasa owned by National Housing Corporation in Changamwe constituency. Honorable Speaker, 5 blocks housing 796 families and owned by the National Housing Corporation in Changamwe constituency are not fit for human habitation and have no reasonable standards for occupation. The services are wanting and in dire need of repair, and especially the drainage which is blocked. The raw sewage has been flowing in the open and posing a health risk, even forcing the residents using their own resources to fix the same. Honorable Speaker, tenants of some of the houses have in the recent past undergone forcible, violent, and brutal evictions from their houses without being accorded alternative shelter and leaving them in the open and exposed to vagaries of nature, which in it is a violation of rights and against the Constitution. Actions by the National Housing Corporation has been cruel and degrading since tenants were given no opportunity to defend their position before the eviction and mistreatment. Honorable Speaker, further, some have been subjected to increased rent of the premises without notice and backdated the difference of the increase as far as the year 2009. The housing firm has in the past even claimed arrears of up to 1 million, an amount which is outrageous and unreasonable for the ordinary families. This is actually interfering with their peaceful stay in their houses, and it is important for the relevant ministry to address the issue of validity and the correct rent to be paid and how the tenants can settle arrears, if any. In addition, there have been allegations of sexual harassments, corruption allegations, rental disputes, arrears and harmonization, access to purchase houses on ongoing projects with no approvals. Access to purchase houses and then ongoing projects with no approvals, thefts and injuries, security lights, social amenities, and lack of public engagement, especially participation by the community, among others. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Works on the matters raised on 1. Could the Chairperson state the mandatory essential amenities and facilities that developers and owners of affordable houses and other buildings or spaces must provide to tenants? Could the Chairperson explain steps taken by the government to ensure that all wastewater and effluent from the sewerage system in the estates in Mombasa owned by National Housing Corporation in Changamwe constituency, how they are actually addressed? Could the Chairperson clarify whether the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, has developed regulations on the management of toxic and hazardous sewerage flow from the broken sewage system and how they are implemented? Could the Chairperson explain what action has been taken against National Housing Corporation for poor management of the estate, constant harassment of residents living in the estate, including threats of evicting them from their homes, sexual harassment, corruption allegations, rental dispute arrears and harmonization, access to purchase houses, ongoing projects with no approvals, thefts and injuries, security lights, social amenities, and lack of public engagement, especially participation by the community? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Omar Mwinyi. I'll refer this to the Departmental Committee on Housing, Urban Planning and Public Works. Is the chairman in the House, Honorable Johanna Ngeno? In the absence of the Honorable Johanna Ngeno, the Majority Leader, Honorable Owen Baya, on behalf of Majority Leader.
I would like to undertake that we will provide within 21 days a comprehensive response. Taking cognizance that the House will rise for recess tomorrow, then probably we'll report when the House reconvenes in the other week. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I can see the Honorable Omar Mwinyi, you are on your feet. You are not satisfied with the 3 weeks given by the Honorable Baya?
The unbearable conditions that my people are facing cannot wait for 21 days. I would actually prefer 2 weeks at most. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Baya?
Honorable Speaker, I am very happy to request the Honorable Johanna Ngeno to actually report in the next 2 weeks. I'm very happy to 14 days. But I'm also taking cognizance of the fact that members are going on recess. Yes, so 10 days is 2 weeks. And within that period, to convene members to sit, to do, I would like even to request the committee to come over to come and see what you're talking about, so that they have a comprehensive report. I wouldn't like them to just bring a report for the sake of a report, but a more practical report. So what I'm requesting for 21 days is a very practical way of handling your situation. So I request you, I know the people of Mombasa are suffering, and I empathize with them. But also, I would like them to get a practical solution to the problem, and 21 days is very, very practical. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Omar Mwinyi, then based on what the Honorable Baya has said on behalf of the Leader of Majority, and also bearing in mind that the Honorable Johanna Ngeno is not in the House, I would like to request you to take the 21 days as has been proposed by the Honorable Baya. Okay, you may.
Madam Speaker, I want this House to be aware that the whole Committee on Housing was there in Changamwe, including the former CS lands, and they saw all these things. So they do not need any 21 days. 10 days are just enough. The whole committee led by Johanna Ngeno, the CS lands, the then CS lands, Honorable Njeru was there. So 10 days are just enough for this thing to be addressed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Because to make progress, and based on the information that the Honorable Omar Mwinyi has just given, that the committee visited, then these will be done in 14 days. So please communicate that to the chair. Honorable members, yesterday, the Speaker made a ruling that Chair on Education issues a statement regarding management of examinations. And I've seen that the Chair Education has been patiently waiting to make this statement, so I give you an opportunity to do so.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you, and I arise to make a statement which actually arose as a result of a question asked by Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Mbui, Minority Leader, Honorable Mbui, and the concerns raised by members. And actually, I want to say that the concerns are actually right. They were actually good. It is a show of concern that as a leadership, we take a lot of interest in the performance of our students or our children in constituencies, and more specifically, the running of examinations during this exam period. Madam Speaker, following the direction given by the Speaker, my committee actually communicated the same to the CS Minister of Education.
Honorable Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt you, But I note that the Honorable Minority,
Yes.
Deputy Minority
yeah.
Leader is not in the House.
Yeah, so you can't respond. You wait until.
So I wait?
Yes.
Since it's property of the House, when the question was asked, it became property of the House.
Yes.
I would like to allow you to continue, but it is very important then that when a member asks, especially for a statement, ensures
he's in the House.
that he or she is in the House. You may proceed for the benefit of others.
Yes. Madam Speaker, I want to say that as much as the minority leader is not in the House, the issue at hand raised a lot of interest among members across the aisles of the House. So as directed by the Speaker, the committee communicated to the CS Education, Honorable Machogu, and I asked that he gives us a very detailed statement on the status of the preparedness of the ministry in regards to the various examinations they are going to undertake this year. Honorable Speaker, apart from that, they also gave a statement on the status of the JSS, the progress in the JSS schools across the country in regards to infrastructure, in regards to teachers, and in regards to teaching learning materials. Honorable Speaker, in that regard, the statement I have before you is quite long, it's quite lengthy, it has a lot of information, and I would wish that the members, I know it will take a lot of time, and I want to say that it will actually answer a number of issues raised by members, and I know members will ventilate on it, and we shall discuss this, and this is actually very good. Madam Speaker, you will allow me to go through the statement that this brief provides the state of preparedness in relation to the forthcoming national examinations and assessments. These are the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment, KEPSEA, the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, KCPE, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, KCSE, and the Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment for learners with special needs. The brief also provides a status update on the implementation of the competency-based curriculum, including and not limited to infrastructure, textbook distribution, and teachers in those particular schools. On examination preparedness, Madam Speaker, it is noted that the Ministry of Education, through the Kenya National Examination Council, NEC, is committed to delivering quality assessment in line with its mandate. To achieve this, regular reviews have been done to ensure that all the necessary prerequisite measures are in place so that to guarantee effective conduct of the 2023 national examinations and assessments. Madam Speaker, on the issue of timetable, the Honorable CS has indicated that the Kenya National Examination Council issued several timetables to alert examiners, to alert candidates and the teachers and the parents that the exams will be done this year. The candidates, the timetable is on this table 1, and it has indicated that the exam for KEPSEA is starting on 30th to 1st of November 2023. That is, Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, Kenya Primary School Education Assessment is done between 30th and 1st of November. 2, KCSE will run 30th October to 1st November. Yes. KCSE practicals and optional papers, they are starting on Thursday 19. They started on Thursday 19 October 2023. It will also run all the way to, there will be exams on 23rd October to 3rd November. We will also have KCSE theory. It will run from 1st November to 24th November. That is in brief the timetable. It doesn't give a lot of details. On the candidature of students, Madam Speaker, it is indicated that we have given a big list on the increments of students. The total number of students in KCSE this year is, the total candidature is 905. KCPE, the figure is there, it's a lot. But the total candidature, Madam Speaker, for 2023 candidates is 3 million. That is for KEPSEA, for KCPE, and for KCSE and others. it is 3,606,972,000. This is an increase of 8.6% from the previous exam. Why the candidature and why this is actually for members to note.
Honorable Meli.
Yes.
Chair, I noticed that you have quite a big document.
Yes, it's a big document.
Is it possible for you to summarize and then you table it so that other people who want to go through all the details can go through? If you can just highlight the issues as raised in the statement, and then you bring it to the table so that whoever wants to read all the details then can pick from there, including the Deputy Leader of Minority.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well guided. I will actually summarize. But the issue is actually very, very important for members to understand, because I'll be skimming through some of the issues. I will not be going to the details, but I wanted to pinpoint some of the pertinent areas which members had a lot of concern. Madam Speaker, when you look at identification and distribution of centers or containers and the mapping of examination centers, this was actually something that was quite raised here. And it's an issue that is, I want to really emphasize, is that the Ministry of Education and NEC have been working on the strategies to eliminate early exposure. Madam Speaker, early exposure of the second session of examination paper. One of the key strategies to implement with effect from 2023 is the collection of examination papers twice a day for KCSE examination. This will ensure that no candidate has access to examination prior to the set time. Madam Speaker, this is actually the reason why the ministry actually went ahead and introduced the collection of examination committee. We found out that most exam cheating and malpractices takes place on the second paper, because this paper goes to the school early, it gets exposed early, and that is why that is the real issue. And I think the ministry is trying to treat that particular malpractice. On the same note, therefore, to allay the fears raised by the honorable members, the ministry said that to this end, stakeholders engagement forums on mapping of examination centers were convened as follows. I don't want to go into the details, but I want to note that to consolidate meetings, I want to go to the area where the examination council increased. Madam Speaker, the examination council actually went ahead and increased the number of containers from 482 to 506. This is to ensure that not every sub-county now, I think we have about 290 constituencies, but the number of examination containers were increased from that number to increase so that schools can have easy access to the picking point. Madam Speaker, you remember that before 2016, police stations used to be the centers of collecting exams. But it was realized that it was from those police centers that exams were leaked and a lot of malpractices took place. During the Mutembei reforms, it was decided that all exams be stored in containers where the sub-county director of education has a different key, and then the deputy county commissioner or assistant county commissioner has another key, so that no one can access the container because of the double locking system. Madam Speaker,
what is out of order, Honorable Timothy Toroitich, Marakwet West? Is anything out of order?
None.
So you may withdraw your intervention.
Yes.
Please. Proceed, Chairman.
Yes. Madam Speaker, following the various engagement, NEC mapped out all examination centers to the nearest distribution center to avoid delays at the start of the second examination session. During mapping or alignment of KPSEA, KCSE, and KCPE examination centers was categorized as follows. That is now the categorization to avoid lateness. And Madam Speaker, papers have been reduced to 2. It will be done in the morning and in the afternoon when the other one has been redone. The alignment is as follows.
What is out of order, Honorable Mary Emasi?
Madam Speaker, one of my sub-counties does not have a container. They are collecting exams from the neighboring sub-county, which is Teso Central. Teso South does not have an exam container. And I've gone up to the ministry and nothing has been done. So, Honorable Chair, that is out of order to say that all the sub-counties have containers. That should be addressed.
Well, I would have asked you to wait until he finishes. Maybe it is among the ones that you will read last. So, Honorable Chair, you may want, if it is not there, then you may need to respond to the Honorable Member for Teso.
Kindly, Madam Speaker.
Please finalize.
Madam Speaker, you know the document is quite huge, and I want to tell the Honorable Member for Teso South, because she has, I want to say that she has a lot of information about our sub-county, but there are new containers that have been moved across. Let her wait, and then she will actually ask the question after. And this statement, Madam Speaker, is a statement from the CS. You will actually interrogate it after I've laid it on the floor so that you can actually ask questions. Madam Speaker, on the alignment of examination centers to distribution centers that are nearer and within their sub-counties. That is one. Number two, alignment of examination centers to distribution points and within their sub-counties, but within their county. In this category, the key consideration was security, terrain, and distance. Madam Speaker, counties where examination centers are realigned due to security-related issues include West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera. In Soy sub-county, some centers were realigned to Tarbo and Moiben because of the distance and the terrain. Only centers that were over 20 kilometers from the current container were realigned. The other issue is alignment of examination centers to distribution points that are nearer but not within their counties. The other one is installation of new distribution centers or containers, a total of 82 additional containers for new sub-counties and issues of terrain, distance, and security. Madam Speaker, the other issue that was also raised, and we have the list here among the members, I'll not go through it. I will actually table it so that members will check on it. The other issue that was also raised was the preparation of facilities for storage of 2023 national examination materials. Madam Speaker, this one is actually very detailed to show that how the exams move all the way from the printing, all the way to the national warehouse in Nairobi, to the regional distribution centers, and all the way to the sub-counties, and all the way to the containers within the various sub-counties, and even within the various divisions. So this one is quite enumerated, it is very clear, and it has actually shown that they have increased the distribution centers from actually 5 to 576. So they have increased this year by almost 82 new containers. Madam Speaker, the provision of containers in some of the sub-counties was based on the following. The new areas, that one, creation of new sub-being gazetted, geographical vastness, 3, rugged terrain, that is hilly and mountainous and vast areas, 4, potential above average rains. You know, this is the time when we have rains during this particular region. It also showed that areas with a lot of rains and accessibility also actually were considered when giving out the containers. Madam Speaker, I want to note, and I wish that you allow me to read on this. Examinations for Kabedo, South, Hor, Baragoi are airlifted from Nairobi directly into the respective containers due to the security concerns anticipated. From the container, the schools served are within reasonable distance and do not need further airlift. For example, Kabedo Secondary School is 1.2 kilometers away from the nearest container. The examination papers for Chalbi, North Hor, and Wajir North are transported by road to Marsabit and then airlifted from there to individual containers, also due to anticipated insecurity issues in Marsabit. The containers installed are reasonable distance from the schools. Madam Speaker, it is also noted that the examination papers for the whole of Wajir North, Wajir County, are lifted first by the fixed-wing aircraft to Wajir Airport and Elwak Airstrip, then are lifted by helicopters to Dif, Korof, Karar, Kitulo, and Benane, and also to account and on account of anticipated security challenges on the ground. Madam Speaker, also, finally, the examination papers for the whole of Mandera County are flown into Mandera and Takaba airstrips, and then they are lifted by helicopters onto the Lafey, Ramu, Banisa, and Akaba containers, also as mitigation against anticipated security challenges in those particular areas. Madam Speaker, the examination papers for lower stretches of Garissa County are transported by road up to Garissa town, and then they are lifted to the containers of Ulugo, Bado, Gamagia, and Fafi, which are adequate for the schools to collect in the area. Madam Speaker, the dispatch of materials. Madam Speaker, in order to mitigate the challenges experienced in a county, the sub-county directors of education have been key in identifying and bringing to the attention of NEC those counties with whose challenges and NEC has ensured the installation of extra containers in areas where delivery of examinations posed a great challenge. Madam Speaker, on dispatch of materials, I just want to highlight that the dispatch of the 2023 KEPSEA KCSE materials are concluded on 15th of October 2023, and also included the dispatch for the orals and oral material for KCSE. The deployment of field officers to be involved in field administration of national examinations. This is quite important for members to note that yesterday it was alleged that it is the head teachers who are in charge of exams. Yes, they are center managers, but the supervisors and the invigilators are the authorized examination, Kenya National Examination officers who are in charge of those particular centers. But the administration of the center is actually by the head teacher. Madam Speaker, I also want to note that the deployment we have statistics here showing the category of supervisors. We have 19,000 for KCAPE, 10,000 for KCSE, 1,477, and the total number of supervisors is 30,000. All these are actually staff for the administration of the exam. So members, I think that one is well, and you'll actually check in the document. On the other issue, Madam Speaker, NEC has engaged with the Teacher Service Commission, especially on the other personnel. We have security. I want to list the number of personnel involved in this, Madam Speaker, for members to note. We have supervisors, we have invigilators, we have center managers who are actually principals and head teachers of schools. We also have, the total number of teachers are 294,983 who will man these exams. On security officers, we have almost 57,000 police officers. We have drivers, 7,029. We also have sub-county directors of education, deputy or assistant county commissioners, all the way to county police commanders, sub-county police commanders, TSC county directors, regional police commanders, and all those particular officers. It will be actually a multi-agency team running the examinations. Madam Speaker, the other issue that I also want to bring the attention of members is briefing and sensitization of field officers, which is actually a routine in exams across the country. Having been a teacher myself, this is actually something that is done every other time from the national level, the regional level, to the sub-county, and all the way to the zonal level. This has been done, and it was done beginning on 2nd to 6th October. All the briefs were undertaken. Monitoring to ensure smooth administration of quality assurance, and I think these are actually officers who move across schools, counties, sub-counties, and even zonals to ensure that the examination process is done. And here we have a list and agencies engaged in the monitoring and monitoring of national examinations. The officers listed here are 1,765, what we call the roving officers. Roving officers, these are officers that move across to find out everything is moving well. Preparedness for marking of examinations. Madam Speaker, I also want to note that the examiners were trained. About 7,512 examiners were trained in 2023. And in this regard, the data for trained examiners and the rest of the examiners on database has been forwarded to TSC for vetting and in readiness for the engagement. This was very important, especially during our report, Madam Speaker, which we lay on this House. We actually directed the Ministry of Education to ensure that every staff, every examiner has to be vetted so on issues of morality, on issues of integrity, on issues of ethics, so that actually they give the right marks. And I want to thank them because they have done as directed by the committee. On marking of KCPE and KCSE examinations, NEC will set 18 marking centers for KCPE and increase the KCSE marking centers from 35 to 40 in 2023, so as to decongest the centers during the marking and also to cater for the increase in the number of examiners due to increased candidature. This was also an advice that we had, and I think this is very important because most of the centers were congested, most of the examiners marked for long hours, they were strained, they were actually demoted, they had actually a lot of issues, and that's why the centers were increased. Challenges of the way they are going to handle what we call the challenge of the projected El Nino, I just want to note. The Kenya National Examination and Ministry have noted that there will be challenge in, they have spotted 11 areas which they might have flooding and hotspots. Heavy rains, they have also done that. So they have actually given the various areas of Nyakach, Nyando, we have Nzoia and other areas of Busia. Heavy continuous rainfall, they have also identified Lake Victoria Basin. They have also West Pokot, Vihiga and other areas. Flash floods in Turkana, Lodwar and other areas. Landslides in West Pokot. Continuous rainfall above the long-term rainfall. Rift Valley, Nairobi and other areas. Occasional rainfall. The reason why they did it, Madam Speaker, is so that they could actually bring in emergency services like the helicopters, what do you call it, the planes and all these others, and also emergency vehicles. Lastly, on financials, this is where I think members raised, and it has been raised every other time. NEC actually needs, the ministry has requested 3.8 billion in supplementary budget, one for this year, being requested for, one, to cater for pending bills, that is forwarded in 2023-24, and settle the first charge with the financial year 2023. Number two, to meet the council's projected deficit of 2023 budget required so that they can pay examiners, administration officers, and all the rest. So that in brief is what is in the NEC, what is going on in the country. I just want to use a few minutes, Madam Speaker, to also give a status report on CBC. Yes, as actually requested by the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader. Minority Leader. Madam Speaker, following the recommendation of the Presidential Working Party on education and reform on the first progress report of the December 2022, junior secondary schools were domiciled in primary schools. On basis of this recommendation, guidelines for the implementation of junior secondary schools were developed, and the guidelines were given to the Directorate of Quality Assurance and Standards, conducted an assessment of all primary schools to establish their suitability to host junior schools. In preparation for the transition, retooling of teachers, or actually capacity building of teachers, was done by the Teacher Service Commission in compliance with the transformative pedagogies.
Very kindly summarize that part for CBC.
Oh yes, I will do that.
Table the document.
Yes, yes. So it was actually, they have actually retooled the teachers in capacity building. Another thing that actually guided the ministry in setting up the JSS was the distance between schools, the age of the learners, and even the availability of teachers. Number two is curriculum implementation. Madam Speaker, the government is implementing competence. I just want to say that they have actually supplied grade 7 books. Now they're in the process of supplying grade 8 textbooks and learning materials. Number of learning areas, as part of the Presidential Working Party, they have reduced this, and they are now doing designs for lower primary, grade 1 to 3, PP1, PP2, upper primary, grades 4 to 6, junior school. They are now they have reduced the learning areas from 14 to 9. Madam Speaker, on senior school, the learning areas also have been reduced to 7, and the curriculum design for senior school will be finalized once the process for junior school is concluded. Lastly, on the issue of teachers, the government has employed 56,750 teachers in the past 1 year, and they have also moved qualified staff from the former primary schools to junior schools, because most of them are graduates, they have masters, and they have the ability to run those particular schools. Madam Speaker, also on financing of basic education, this is something that I want to bring to the attention of the House. In the first term of 2023, the Ministry of Education disbursed 9.3 billion, that is capitation, for schools, and they have actually given all the monies that they anticipate to disburse. However, in addition to that, Madam Speaker, special needs education schools have received 3.7 million during the first and the second term disbursement, and 1,354 learners in 119 public junior schools. Madam Speaker, to finalize, on infrastructure, the provision of adequate, appropriate and safe infrastructure is paramount in provision of quality education. And they have actually given us how they are giving the money across through the capitation. And two, we have noted that they have also captured where the Ministry of Education, Madam Speaker, which is very important, allow me to say that, have actually engaged in partnership, and I think with this House, last week, with the advice of our Committee of Education and in consultation with the Ministry, the 3.3 billion grant we tabled and divided amongst 290 constituencies in this House, where they are supposed to construct classes where the NGCDF, which will actually be the vehicle under which the money will come, will pay a shilling for the construction of the thousands of classrooms that is going on. Madam Speaker, the wisdom of bringing that money, and I think to this particular House, is to ensure that members no longer go and queue in the Ministry of Education requesting for infrastructure funds, but instead these funds are channeled to the various constituencies so that they can actually build these particular schools. There are so many detailed information here, Madam Speaker, on those particular issues of infrastructure, and I therefore, they have also given us the kind of books they have distributed and how they have reached those particular schools. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I table this at the floor of the House, at the table of the House as directed by the Speaker. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman Education, for that elaborate statement from the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education. Honorable members, I see several interventions, and I would like to give a few on both sides. I'll start with the Honorable Ochem on my right, member for Ugunja.
Honorable, Madam Speaker, I'm member for Ugenya, not Ugunja. Chairperson of the Education Committee, allow me to. The Honorable Chair, the Honorable Speaker, I belong to Ugenya, not to Ugunja. I just want that to be corrected on record. That I'm a member for Ugenya. Yes. Madam Speaker, I really want to thank the Chair.
That is not the Honorable David Ochen.
I just want to thank the Honorable Chair for a very elaborate statement, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when the Deputy Minister raised this matter, it is not for want of knowledge of what's going on. Madam Speaker, what you wanted, and I want to request, Chair, who is my friend, is assurances. Because these things you've talked about, Mr. Chairperson, we've heard about them before. This continuum, we'll move some through the air, we have make arrangements. We had this during the Honorable Magoha's time. He was a very hard-faced man. We had all these things, but even then, we've had elections being stolen. We've had exams being stolen. So can we ensure that the human intervention in the process through which exams could be stolen is removed, Mr. Speaker? Number two is the last thing he's spoken about, the disbursements of money. We all know now that the ministry is not disbursing 100% of the money. The ministry is disbursing 55, sometimes if it goes to the highest 70%. The school is not getting 100% of the money. And this is something that I think Chairperson should deal with. We should be disburse monies on time and enough money. Number three is the books. Madam Speaker, the books are important. But again, if you just tell us that the ministry tells us the books have been given, if the books are given, some schools get books in second term. For children sitting exams in third term. Some schools get the books in August for exams being done in October, November. So Speaker, so the issue is not whether these things are being done. The issue is a timeliness in which these things are being done. The issue is ensuring that we are not losing any part of the chain. Because every year we get these assurances, Madam Speaker, but we don't end up with something not being stolen. The last 2 years have been terrible. So we hope that chairperson who was giving this statement will ensure that the ministry, the minister, the peers concerned follows through and ensure that this year we don't have exams being stolen, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ugenya. The Honorable Aden Dawood, Member for Wajir East. Honorable members, if you are making some clarifications, if you are seeking some clarifications, please make it a minute so that we can have several members doing so. Honorable Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the chair of the Education Committee, and I want to confirm that a lot of the things he said about the hard-to-reach areas like my constituency is actually true. Those exams have been taken by helicopters to those centers, and I wish to thank the Ministry of Education for being prepared this time. The only issue is that from those hard-to-reach areas, while exams have been taken in good time and preparations have been made, unfortunately the students are not ready to take those exams because we don't even have teachers to teach them. One wonders why we spend all that money to take exams to all those areas, but will not post teachers to those areas. I want to urge this House, and I want to ask the chairman of the Education Committee to make sure that those schools are staffed so that students from those areas can take those exams and be at the same level with the other students from the rest of Kenya. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Hope you're taking notes. The Honorable Moses Ijendi, Member for Malava.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to also congratulate the chairperson for this report. I also belong to Education Committee Vice Chair. Madam Speaker, from where I'm sitting, I'm just wondering, when Honorable Ochieng of Ugenya is asking, he wants assurance from the chairperson about these exams, and we have this report actually from the Ministry of Education, which is actually assuring us. So for us, is only to support, because at the end of the day, these exams must be done. If they fail, then the ministry will have failed, and this will be our confirmation that they have failed as an entity. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, you recall Chair also submitted a report on exam cheating. Madam Speaker, Education Committee went around the country collecting views on exam cheating, and what came out so clearly was cheating arising from early exposure. So this process of collecting exams, every exam, is arising from the report we had after going around and collecting views. Madam Speaker, Honorable Mbui concern was particularly distance. And from this report, if members will be careful reading it, the issue of distance has actually been covered. I also want to assure Honorable Mary Massey, it's not a must that you must have a container within your sub-county. For example, there are some schools whose exams will be collected from containers nearer their other sub-counties, like could be like 5 kilometers or 1 kilometer from their schools. Madam Speaker, the other issue that was raised by Honorable Mbui was the issue of cost of transport. Because his fear was the ministry does not have enough funds. We want to assure Parliament that this committee actually pushed the budget committee that we allocated enough money. Because one of the issues that was raised was the issue of cost by...
1 minute, Honorable Ijendi, yours is actually gone. Yours is gone, but you've made very good comments on behalf of your committee as the Vice Chair. Can I thank you and give an opportunity to the Honorable Barto, Member for Moiben? Thank you very much, Vice Chair. 1 minute. And members of the committee, some of you are supporting the chair's position. If you could give that opportunity to a member who is not of your committee so that they can raise issues.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support the chair of Education Committee, where I'm also a member. And Madam Speaker, I want to allay the fears the members of Parliament might be having about the preparedness of the national examinations which are about to take off. Madam Speaker, since the beginning of this 13th Parliament, I think the main issues which we have been dealing with as a committee are issues to do with exams. We have visited several parts of Kenya. We have engaged the stakeholders, and I think the level of preparedness, Madam Speaker, is good. Madam Speaker, there is a saying which the devil is always in the design. Madam Speaker, it is upon us to be very vigilant so that if there is any anomaly, we raise it. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I think the national examination process is watertight, but the devil is always in the design. Let's be vigilant. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Omboko Milemba, member for Emuhaya, 1 minute.
I must be very brief, Honorable Speaker. Number one, on capitation, which the Minister talked about, and the Honorable Chair should hear this, we are doing very badly because we are still at 46%, 53%, and others we are still at 19 and 18, whether it is tuition, operation, and operation, as per the circular that was released last. That is certainly going to affect the practicals, which we talked about yesterday. But let me congratulate the Chair, because this statement actually brings an assurance of many issues, especially the distance which we feared yesterday. On the issue of the examiners, I want to ask this Parliament, as the supplementary comes, to actually support that 3.8 billion to the Kenya National Examination Council. Because with this, then it's an assurance, if we give them this money, that the examiners for the first time should be paid at the right time. Because all that staff, Speaker, whom you had, 290,000 teachers, are never paid. This year they were paid after 1 year. So I want to ask this House to support the 3.8 billion, which is in the supplementary budget, and let it be prioritized for payment of the teachers. Let me say on the issue of supervisors, the Ministry and the Teacher Service Commission should actually factor in the issue of transportation and allowances for the teachers who will be moving to and fro twice a day for all those number of days. I think that should be taken by the Chair and is important. I'm very brief, Speaker. And finally, on the issue of the space and the places where exams are marked, that is where the problem is, because there has been a congestion. I want to congratulate them. They have increased the number of centers. But at the same time, let them increase the payment to every script for the teachers who are marking. We shall be home and dry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Susan Kiamba, member for Makwiny.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would also wish to put my voice to this concern. And my major concern is, while I congratulate the Chair for that very elaborate input on preparedness, I found it very difficult to see the significant difference that has actually been put forth to ensure that we don't have cheating as we had in last time. Because the only difference I saw was mainly in increased centers. And then secondly, with a capitation of 26%, anybody who has been in the schools of late, like me, knows the head teachers and administrators are straining extensively with the very basic logistics. And I think if we are expecting the exams to be done in the manner we want them to be done, it is important to understand that the learning environment that is taken care by the capitation is very low and very weak, with some desks running all over and environment of the school quite wanting. The third point I would want to put across, when Honorable Bai asked this question, it was about the centers and the issue of collecting exams twice, the morning session and the afternoon session. And the concern was, if I heard them properly, was that in the collecting twice even increased chances of cheating. I do not understand. How is picking the exam twice reducing the chances of cheating of the exams? Because to me, I think that could actually be very manipulative. When we have people picking the exams twice, it actually gives them an opportunity to collude. And mainly so, when we have examiners who have not been paid for years, what will stop them from taking a few bribes so that they can cushion their pockets? as opposed to waiting. So I think we need to have some resources into this so that we can have watertight scenario in these exams. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Makwiny. Honorable Chair, I hear you saying point of information, but I'll give you the last opportunity because members are raising different issues on this. The Honorable Naomi Wako, Member for Marsabit County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important discussion. I also want to congratulate the Chair for that very good report that he has tabled, that has made us to understand and also shown us that the ministry is prepared for the exams. Madam Speaker, in the past, our students have been affected in different ways because of a lot of cheating. And if those loopholes can be, you know, they can just take care of that, we will be grateful. The other thing is about the distance that is covered in some areas, like where I come from. And especially now when it is raining, please put into consideration those areas that are quite difficult and a lot of distance between one school to the other and even the center that where they collect the exams from. Make sure that all students are given equal opportunities, papers collected on time, exam collected on time, and also make sure that special attention is given so that the cheating that has been there can be controlled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Professor Jaldesa, Member for Moyale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to raise a small issue. I congratulate the committee chair for reading hard names from Northern Kenya. Congratulations, at least it means you have done some bit of work. Looking at the examination, there's a lot of inequality and fairness to the students from hard to reach areas. Mr. Chair, if you can imagine, students who have been transported 80 kilometers away from their homes to do examination in another center away from home, and yet there is no boarding facility for them. Just because of lack of logistics. The ministry cannot afford to take the examination to where they have been schooling, and these are the people who have been in class with less than 50% of teachers' coverage. 3 teachers in class 1 to 8. They are already disadvantaged. Now you are taking them, displacing them from their homes to another place to do the examination. That we need to see how we can improve on that kind of problems next time. The other issue of examination, because the examination, if you consider, do we ever validate the test results at the marked scripts? Is there a way of validating them so that we know that the marks given for a child in alliance will be the same for the same child from Moyale? Because there is a bit of bias, I'm suspecting biasness in the teachers marking the papers. So I think we need to have a watertight validation system so that the students are assessed on equal footing. With those few remarks, I want to thank the Speaker. Thank you.
Well, honorable members, you allow me to give the last opportunity to the Honorable Dr. Pukose. I can see so many interventions. And
thank you, Madam Speaker.
I'll give 2 on my left and 2 on my right. We close this, we go to the next business, honorable members. So now, Dr. Pukose, 1 minute, kindly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Chair of the Committee on Education and members of the Education Committee who have given their input. But, Madam Speaker, as our students prepare to do the exams, and more so my students from Mutembei's constituency, whom I wish them success in their exams, both in the KPCA, KCPE, and KCSE. One of the biggest challenges that I think the Chair did not address is the issue of paying those who mark the exams in time, because that has always been the biggest challenge. And I think the chair needs to address that because the morale of those markers is normally very low. The second thing which I wanted the chair to address is that, you know, when some of us did exams, we never saw issues of cheating in those early 90s. And even when we did our KCB in 80s, there was no cheating. I think we need to look at what went wrong that people now think cheating is the norm. I think that is something that the Education Committee needs to really look at it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Kaluma, 1 minute, please.
I thank you, Chair. Chair, the response coming from the CS is not satisfactory, and I was personally going to request, Chair, that the Cabinet Secretary be required to come to this House as a matter of urgency, if possible, by tomorrow, even exceptionally, to address these issues. Chair, the substantive Speaker, when this matter was raised the issue of administration of exams, and the idea that you have the very center managers who have set mean grades with students being in charge of exams within their centers. That has not been addressed. Chair, in terms of distribution, in my own constituency, Chair, there is no place other than the central place where they have been picking them from at the sub-county headquarters, which is actually the county headquarters. So this falsehood, Chair, or the statement that there are containers all over is misleading. Chair, the system being established here is to facilitate exam cheating. And Chair, my concern is that we behave as if this is the first time Kenya is going to do exams. Why must each CS, each regime come with their own method of doing exams? We had agreed to the system Magoa had created. Now they are changing every day, and essentially we are creating avenues through which, cheating will be pervaded in our exams. I request, Chair, that you direct that the CS comes here so that we can deal with these issues, not on these papers which are not giving us the right position. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kipchumba Toroitich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on this very important statement. Madam Speaker, I support the statement by the CS for education. Madam Speaker, for the elaborate plan that they have put in so that we can be able to manage exams in this country. Madam Speaker, a nation that fails to plan then plans to fail. Madam Speaker, we must know that we must respect the sanctity of our certificates in this country. The moment we allow for cheating in this country, then it means that our certificates shall not have value, not only in Kenya, but the entire continent and the entire world. So, Madam Speaker, I call upon those who are managing exams, because no law can be able to stop them from opening avenues for cheating. Madam Speaker, if you look at WhatsApp and Instagram, there are a lot of papers that are going around claiming that those are the examination papers. So we have in this country the CAK, Communication Authority of Kenya. We have the DCI. What are they happening? What are they doing when papers are circulating in our social media channels? So, Madam Speaker, we want to call upon the DCI and all the investigative agencies to ensure that all the loopholes are being sealed so that we can have value for our certificates in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, the last one on this will be the Honorable Fatuma Majo, member for Wajir. In the interest of time, honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to thank the Chair for Education for the update he has given us on the examination preparedness. Chair, my question today is not about examination preparedness. Where I come from, we have not had teachers for the past few months and years. When the Chair himself has been supporting withdrawal of teachers from our area, Northeastern, the entire area. Chair, you're coming to tell us about the preparedness of the school. I wonder what our children are going to sit for. Let me finish, Chair.
What do you want to inform, Honorable?
Chair.
I would have wanted to let her finish first because yes, you have the last opportunity. Not to defend, but just to,
Speaker,
to make comments.
Speaker, thank you for that. I just want to ask the Chair of Education, what is the essence of carrying examination papers with choppers when indeed those schools you have mentioned in Wajir North have no teachers? I just want to understand. Are we going to do exam or we are going to see the choppers? Thank you.
Chairman, I am assuming that the matter that was raised by the Honorable Mary Emase, I can see that you are on your feet. Your matter had been addressed or it has not been addressed?
Seek clarification so that the chair can address together as informs the House. Honorable Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, kindly, I would like to give this the last opportunity to the Honorable Mary Emase.
Thank you.
Then we go to the chair because we have other business in the order paper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I just want to seek clarification from the Chair Education. I said I represent 2 sub-counties. Teso South sub-county is nearer or closer to Busia town. But as I speak to you, exams have started. They have to pick exams from Amukura, which is the headquarters for Teso Central sub-county, which is a bit too far. So my request is, even if the container has not been transported to Busia for Teso South sub-county, can Teso South sub-county collect the exams from the container in Busia town, even if it is for Matayo sub-county? Because you know, the integrity of the exam will be determined by the process. The validity of the exam will be determined by the process. So therefore, we must minimize any fraud, any attempts, any cheating. So let us, I am representing these people, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Member for Teso South.
They have to collect the exam from Busia town. Thank you.
You've made your point very well. Honorable members, now I give an opportunity to the chairman, Honorable Meli.
Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that as rightly conversed by a member of Lego Usonga, I have no answers. I want to commend the members for what they have actually said, and it shall be transmitted to the CS. But there are certain issues that I want to put it on record, as said by, especially the issue of aligning containers. I think in my statement I read it quite well, that certain sub-counties shall be served outside their own sub-county. Just a case in point is that one of what the Honorable Member for Teso South is alluding to. That's why I read that. 2, on the issue of teachers, I want to say that, and I want to be on record, Madam Speaker, the Education Committee, and I being a former teacher, have been very fair to the teachers of Northeastern, and more specifically that region, because in 2018, when we were Chair of Education, we introduced a continuous recruitment of teachers in that particular region of Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, and Lamu. And no other part of the country has been given preferential treatment like that particular region. So it's unfair for the Honorable Member for Wajir to allude that the Chair of Education Committee and the Education Committee is unfair to that particular region. 2, on the issues that faced the 129 teachers, Northern region has about 6,000 teachers or over, but 129 teachers had certain incidental sporadic cases of insecurity, which they needed to be listened to and be addressed. They should not be handled globally, like the whole region. Not the whole of Mandera is insecure, not the whole of Wajir is insecure, but certain areas where these teachers were crying that they had issues. And the committee, I want to thank them, they listened to them. But we did not make a resolution that those teachers, the whole teachers from North region, need to move out. So, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to put that very clearly. On the issue of early exposure, I want to say this. It was in the wisdom of the committee, and I want to thank the members, that the exams be picked twice, because the second paper was the paper that was actually leaked. So that's why at the examination center, or what you call the school, when the exams reach there, maybe through unethical people, immoral characters could open the paper early and expose it. That's why we say you pick the exam in the morning, do it by 10:30. The longest exam in KCSE is 2.5 hours. By around 10:30, it is over. Go back and pick the next one so that it is done in the afternoon without any early exposure. So that's why, as Honorable Torojija said, there is nothing sanctifying as an examination, as a certificate. But if we as a country are not going to make sure that our certificates are honored and have integrity, we shall not actually stand in the community of nations as people who have actually started. Lastly, Madam Speaker, on the issue of validation and movement, as said by a member of Wajir, I think the issue of marking, we said the examiners need to be paid well, and I agree with members. And that's why we made a proposal in this budget, and I also asked the House, when the supplementary budget comes here, we vote 3.8 billion to NEC to pay for examiners, to pay for all those other things. And lastly, is on the issue of cheating, and not cheating, what we call validation and movement of learners. It is quite unfair to move a boy or a girl from his home to far place. I know it is happening because of lack of distances and all this, but I want members to know that it is not in the interest of the Examination Council and even this committee that students are moved for 2 or 3 days to finish exams and they come back home. So I want to say that I think that's something that we can address, and I thank you. Lastly, I want to tell the committee, the House, that the CS will be here tomorrow at 9 to address the issue of capitation in schools, among many others. So I want to ask that members be in the chamber tomorrow early enough so that actually you can be able to meet the CS to answer a number of things one-on-one. Thank you so much.
Next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, in this session, we will go through the Committee of the Whole House for 3 bills. I hope the members of these bills are in the House. There's a Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022. Then there's a National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2022. And then we will resume where we left yesterday from the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, Bill number 54 of 2022. So we'll start with the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022. And on this particular bill, we have amendments by the chairperson of the Labour Committee, and that'll be it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson of the Committee on Labour.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that clause 2 be amended as it appears in the order paper. And Honorable Speaker, the justification is that this amendment seeks to ensure that each public office within the meaning of the Constitution shall be obligated to prepare a report
And Chair, this one I would like to support. My only request, Chair, is that in as much as we see compliance with these ideals by these institutions or these commissions, because they cannot just be reporting about what is happening out, not internally. This requires them to internally tell us what they are doing. Chair, let us also try to make it easy for the commissions to ensure that in their outward discharge of functions, they also comply. See what is happening with Teacher Service Commission, Chair, for instance, where we've interfered with the independence of the commission. Politicians are now distributing forms, not caring about these ideals. I therefore support this amendment, but I request, Chair, that it be implemented across and we give these commissions the free room to be independent and to exercise these ideals. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Butere.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I stand to support the amendment, although I want to caution my colleague Kaluma not to say that politicians are distributing forms for TSC. I haven't distributed any form. I think he needs to withdraw that statement. Oh, he didn't say Kenya Kwanza, he said politicians.
Are you referring to Honorable Kaluma or Kaluma?
Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, that's how you call him.
Yeah. So he needs to withdraw the statement of politicians distributing forms, because that's not in order. But I stand to support the amendment, Chair.
Thank you. He didn't talk about talk about forms of any nature. I just had forms. I don't know whether they are forms.
No. He said.
Are they birth certificate forms?
He said what is happening in TSC where politicians are distributing TSC forms.
What kind of forms? Birth certificates.
That's what I wanted him to specify or withdraw.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Labour Committee. Will the that opinion say aye? Will the that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will someone that opinion say aye? Will someone that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 1A.
I Members, I propose the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the new clause, as it appears in the order paper, be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, this amendment seeks to introduce the definition of the term authorized officer, which is contained in the bill and is also used in other sections of the Act, but was previously not defined in the Public Service Values and Principles Act of 2015. The amendment also seeks to ensure that a public office is defined as contained in the Constitution, and further to ensure that every public office shall be mandated to prepare a report on the status of the promotion of values and principles of public service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Honorable Dawood.
Honorable Chair, I support the amendment by the Chair of the committee, and I request others to support as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I put the question that the new clause 1A be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair of the Labour Committee. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that new clause 1A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question of the title of the bill. The Honorable Dawood, you want to speak on this? I now put the question that the title of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. You can move from wherever you are. Do you have the notes for moving? Mover.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, up to and its approval thereof with amendments, and seek leave to sit again. Thank you.
Where did you find seek leave to sit again? Just move forward. Stop with amendments.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, up to clause 2, and its approval thereof with amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members will move now to the bill on the National Construction Authority. It's Amendment Bill number 59 of 2022.
Clause 2.
propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson of the Housing Urban. The Honorable Gikaria, what's out of order? Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This amendment on the National Construction Authority was my amendment, but I'm told it has to be moved by the chair of the committee who is not in today. Maybe, Chair, I need some guidance on how we progress from here. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
The bill is his. His council.
Vicari is the sponsor. What is the problem? The chair wanted to move deletion of all this, meaning killing the bill. But now he's not there. So what do you do? No, it's for you to guide, not anybody. I think it depends when member moves amendment. I think we the bill has to carry the day because he's not there to move the amendment.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gikaria. You can take your seat. Honorable members, as you know our rules, the chair of the committee had proposed amendments, 2 of them, but is not in the House to move these amendments. The update of the same is that the bill is carried, and so, Honorable Gikaria, there will be nothing to be done by you this afternoon. We'll just
amendments.
So
The bill as it is.
That
we have to
that's
the
a
process. So you go, but you will read without amendments. And so we now go
So the mover will move for reporting.
we'll go through clause 2 to be part of the bill without amendments now. This process without amendments. I call clause 2 and you move.
Just resume your seat. Clause 2. All members, I propose a question that clause 2 of the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill number 59 of 2022 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 2 be. Honorable Kaluma.
Chair, I very rarely would oppose anything coming from Honorable Gikaria. But Chair, you know the state of the economy. Chair, have we factored the budgetary implication in excluding women, youth, and persons with disabilities, whether rich or otherwise, from paying the fees required? I think this one would be a lot of money being lost to the government. So some women, Honorable Chair, are very rich. Look at a woman like, sorry to give the example, Honorable Keitany, Honorable Beatrice of Kericho. Why do we say that they will be applying for registration without paying due fees? Why don't we categorize women so that we deal with women who have no money, the youth who have no money? Look at a youth like Honorable Babu Owino, who is a permanent youth. Why should he not pay fees to register a construction firm? Chair, that is my concern. Otherwise, I will not oppose anything coming from Dr. Gikaria.
You've just opposed, but it's all right. And I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Title. I propose the question that title of the bill. I put the question that the title of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Clause 1. I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Honorable Ngeno. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover for reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee to do report to the House the consideration of the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 59 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House is consideration of the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So members, we now move to the next bill, that is the National Construction Authority Bill. Dahi Kandenda. We now move to the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 2022, and we'll start from where we left yesterday. Can I put my card in? The Honorable Tom Kajwang of Ruaraka, we not even having anything on the floor. What's out of order? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I rise on my place to say what I've never said since I came to this House. But this is a very important bill. We are looking at our health matters. I want to discuss this bill when there is a sufficient quorum to proceed with it. I see the House is not well constituted to proceed with this matter.
Could the Sergeant at Arms confirm for me whether it's true that we don't quote? Having confirmed that the Honorable Kajwang is right, I order that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Wako kwa drugs, hebu ni confirm na wao. Umesema wako kwa drugs? Well, if you've been following up on the proceedings of the National Assembly, this morning sitting, you will realize that at around when the House was at the Committee of the Whole House stage, considering the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill originating from the Senate, Bill number 54 of 2022, a bill by Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, Ruaraka Member of Parliament, Honorable TJ Kajwang, rose to alert the chair that the House lacks the requisite quorum, the needed quorum to continue on this particular bill. The debate on this bill kicked off on the floor of the House on Tuesday afternoon. It is a bill that is at its second stage, and this morning sitting, the bill was part of the bills that had been scheduled to be considered at the Committee of the Whole. And members had considered a number of amendments towards this bill that have been forwarded by various members. And this sitting at the Committee of the Whole, the members were supposed or expected to pick the amendments from clause number 23, but the House does not have the requisite quorum to enable it to continue. This is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 34, also touching on the quorum of a Committee of the Whole House. This is similar to a quorum at the commencement of House business. 50 members are required to be in the chambers for the House to continue with this particular sitting. Or remember, there are amendments that are being moved or proposed to these bills that are usually considered at the Committee of the Whole House stage, and the House requires a substantial number of members to be present in the chambers to ensure that the amendments that are being moved, if at all they will be adopted or not adopted, then the participation of members is substantial. So the quorum bell is underway. Remember, the House had achieved its quorum at the beginning of the House business. Various businesses have been considered. There were the petitions that were tabled. There was also the statement from the Ministry of Education presented by the Chair of the Education Committee, Honorable Julius Meli, and the House had its required number. Then the House proceeded to consider a number of bills. These are 3 bills that have been lined up to be considered at the Committee of the Whole House. And the House had moved to the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill by the Honorable Member for Endebess, when the Member for Ruaraka alerted the Chair that the House does not have the required number to continue on these discussions and consider the amendments on this particular bill. So the bell will be on, of course, to allow the members who are within the precincts of Parliament but not inside the chambers to be able to make their way to the chambers to enable the House continue with the business that was on the floor of the House. Currently, the House is at the Committee of the Whole House stage. But a look at what this bill was entailing is that the member for Endebess indicates that the regulation of medicines, pharmaceuticals, practice, drugs, scheduled substances, therapeutic, cosmetics, medical devices and related substances has been in fragmented legislation. In keeping with international best practices and guidance from the World Health Organization, the aim of the proposed National Health Products Regulatory System is to safeguard the health of the public by ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy or effectiveness of medicines and related health products based on principles of sound science, evidence, and transparency. This requires an institutional framework with a clear legal mandate and with the requisite expertise and independence in decision making. It is for these main reasons that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill is proposed. So now you may understand where this bill, that is the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, is stemming from. The proposed authority will be established within national government, its functions being a critical and integral part of health policy as set out in the 4th schedule to the Constitution. So this particular bill establishes the Kenya Drugs Authority as a corporate body capable of suing and being sued, taking, purchasing, acquiring, holding, or disposing of movable or immovable property, and doing or performing all such other things or acts for the proper discharge of its functions under the Act, which may be lawfully done by a body corporate. The bill also establishes the management of the authority. It stipulates who shall sit on the board of authority, it further states who shall qualify to be on the board of management. This is a bill that introduces the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill. And if you are just joining these proceedings, is that currently is a quorum bell underway. The quorum bell comes at a time when the House was considering a number of bills at the Committee of the Whole House stage. And if the House does not have the required number of members inside the chambers, this is at least 50 members to be inside the chambers to participate in or on the matters being discussed. Remember, this was a bill at the committee. Here, mostly amendments are being proposed to the clauses, various clauses of the bills. There are amendments that are usually proposed at this particular stage. Members consider the amendments, and if they agree to amending clauses of the bill as per what the members have proposed in the amendments, then the amendments will be adopted. And therefore, the House requires a substantial number of members to enable the House make the amendments or adopt the amendments or drop the amendments altogether. So the bell will be on for the House to see whether the members will walk into the chambers. And attain the required quorum to continue with the business at hand. Once the quorum is achieved, the sergeant, who are keenly checking on the numbers as members are walking in, will be able to alert the clerk, then the chair. Let's listen in. The chair is making
Madam Speaker. The chairperson of the Committee of the Whole, please report.
Honorable Speaker, while in the Committee of the Whole House, the House considered to conclusion the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill number 46 of 2022 and the National Constitutional Authority Amendment Bill number 59 of 2022 to conclusion. Madam Speaker, we were in the process of considering the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, Bill number 54 of 2022, when the member for Ruaraka, the Honorable Kejuang, rose on his seat and notified the chairperson of lack of quorum. Madam Speaker, in line with Standing Order 35, ordered the bell to be rung for 10 minutes, at the conclusion of which, Madam Speaker, we have not achieved quorum. I therefore rise to report the fact that there is no quorum in the House. Thank you.
Honorable members, the time being 12:17 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 25th October 2023 at 2:30 p.m.
Assembly proceedings, afternoon sitting on this 24th day of October, the year 2023. This is a live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Members of the National Assembly will this afternoon consider the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 54 of 2022 by the Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Robert Pukose. This bill will be considered at the Committee of the Whole House stage. And there are amendments that have been moved by various leaders in this particular bill for the consideration of the bill at the Committee of the Whole House stage. The chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health intends to move a number of amendments on this particular bill. There are various amendments that have been proposed to be moved on this bill, and that will be considered at the Committee of the Whole House stage. But a look at what this particular bill entails is that this bill is established, or rather this bill establishes the Kenya Drugs Authority as a corporate body capable of suing and being sued taking, purchasing, acquiring, holding, or disposing of a movable or immovable property, and doing or performing all such other things or acts for the proper discharge of its function under the Act, which may be lawfully done by a body corporate. The mover of this bill indicates that in keeping with the international best practices and guidance from the World Health Organization, the aim of the proposed national health products regulatory system is to safeguard the health of the public by ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy or effectiveness of medicines and related health products based on principles of sound science, evidence, and transparency. This requires an institutional framework with a clear legal mandate and the requisite expertise and independence in decision making. It is for this reason that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill is proposed. But as you can see, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, is in the chambers. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Waheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, we don't have numbers yet.
Well, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, has directed that a quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes at the commencement of the House business. Pursuant to Standing Order number 34, the House needs to have a quorum of 50 members. But if the House does not have that requisite number, then the Chair or the Speaker may order that the quorum bell be rung, of course, to enable the members to be able to get into the chambers and allow the House achieve the required number pursuant to the House Standing Order. We've just seen the Sergeant at Arms indicating that 3 members, once they walk in, will be able to enable the House reach that particular number. But of course, we know members will be getting into the chambers to follow on this afternoon sitting proceeding. And in a few minutes, of course, we will see the Sergeant at Arms indicate that the House has achieved the quorum, and the Speaker will call the House to order, and the business of the House shall begin immediately. Well, that is the Sergeant at Arms indicating to the Speaker that the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast that is brought to you.
Order number 1,
KBC
administration of oath.
PBU. Good afternoon.
Order number 2, communication from the Chair.
Honorable members, allow me to recognize a delegation from the Parliament of Uganda. I wish to introduce to you a delegation of staff from the Parliament of Uganda. The delegation comprises of the following: Ms. Geria Beatrice, Senior Principal Administrative Assistant; Mr. Mugisha David, Principal Economist; Mr. Chaligonza Moses, Principal Policy Analyst; Ms. Ajilong Eacho Betty, Legislative Counsel; Ms. Mary M. Athieno, Office Assistant; and Mr. Moses Lubwama, Office Assistant. The delegation is on a visit to the National Assembly of Kenya to learn about the execution of strategic programs undertaken in the Office of the Speaker, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and other offices in the National Executive. Honorable members, on my behalf and that of the National Assembly, I welcome them and wish them a fruitful engagement in the country. Second, to Honorable Robert Mbui, in the matter of SABINA CHEGES, David Mwenje, Jubilee and AZIMIO, I'll deliver my ruling tomorrow at 2:30. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
What is it, Mwenje? Is it Mark Mwenje? Oh, I'm so sorry. I was in the 7th Parliament, 9th Parliament with your father. So I was, but the apple never fell far from the tree. Proceed. Next order. Have you called?
Order number 3, messages.
Order, honorable members. Honorable Yula, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate on the extension of the mandate of the National Dialogue Committee. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-4 of the National Assembly Standing Orders relating to messages from the Senate, I wish to report to the House that on 23rd October 2023, I received a message from the Senate regarding the approval of the motion on the extension of the mandate of the National Dialogue Committee. The message conveyed that on Wednesday, 18th October 2023, the Senate considered and approved the motion on the extension of the mandate of the National Dialogue Committee without amendments. Honorable members, you recall that on Tuesday, 17th October 2023, the National Assembly approved the motion on the extension of the mandate of the National Dialogue Committee by a further 30 days from 28th October 2023. The approval by the Senate in the same form as approved by the National Assembly concludes the bicameral consideration of the matter. The House is accordingly guided. Next.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 24th October 2023. 1. A report of the Auditor General and financial statement on Upper Tana Catchment and Natural Resources Management for the year ended 30th June 2023 and certificates therein. And 2. The National Government Constituencies Development Fund NGCDF Board Report on project proposals, approvals, disbursement and status and restrictions imposed on constituency account for the first quarter of financial year 2023-2024. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you. The Chairperson, Select Committee on Regional Integration.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 24th October 2023. This is the report of the Committee on Regional Integration and study visit to the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, headquarters in Lusaka, Zambia, from 24th to 31st May 2023.
Thank you. Next. Sorry, honorable members, we'll go back to order number 5, and at number 5, 1B, I'm told the chair of the NGCDF committee had some comment to make. Do you? If you are not, then it's okay.
Yes, I don't have.
Okay, fine. Members, next order.